Alright, it's 2 a.m. and, well, I don't know. That mood is on me again. Something insidiously sweet about dread. I don't know how to describe it. I know what I want to do, but I can't seem to make myself begin. Something's always just barely holding me back. I don't know what this nameless thing is. It's not friendly. I had an idea for the beginning of a poem or a song. My feet still hurt from the bridges I've burned. Or something to that effect. You know, one of the first questions I can remember asking in my whole life was, am I a bad person? And people always went to great lengths to tell me no. At least, when I asked as a child. The most common answer was, there's no such thing as a bad person. Of course, that always rung hollow to me. Not saying that I think I am, well, I don't think I can judge what kind of person I am, and it's foolish and perhaps even hubristic to do so. Can't judge a story you haven't finished. Well, I suppose you can in some cases, but you also can't judge a story from the inside. Can you? Is that the only way to judge it? Hmm. Let's step back a few. There. And I think part of the issue is the present tense of the word am. Am I this? Am I that? Right now, all I am is in front of a computer screen making a mandala. For no particular purpose. This doesn't symbolize anything. It's just helping me focus. Hopefully giving you something interesting to look at while I ramble. That was the idea here. Well, not really. That was the excuse for me to do this. Well, excuse is a strong word considering that implies I'm getting permission from someone. Mountains. This gives me mountains and a well. What does it mean? What is it supposed to mean? Which is the better question? Why are we asking? Aeons. I don't believe time does pass. I believe we pass through time. Not that there's a difference from our perspective. We still say sunrise and sunset. After all. You ever think about that? We all know, well, all the sane folks out here know that the sane, educated folks, I'm sorry, there are folks that simply are not aware somehow. Um, Not their fault. Just saying, like, wow, crazy. That's how it went down. Anyway, the Earth goes around the sun. So the sun doesn't rise or set. The sun is always It is moving, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but like it's moving in a direction. Um, but like so's every star, and the Earth is moving in that direction also and around the sun, right? That's my understanding of it. So why then do we still say sunrise and sunset? Because that's what it looks like. That's what it seems like. I can't even I can't think of a reasonable short phrase or word that would explain it in another, you know, like I guess dawn and dusk, but how do you define those? You know, like you can't get away from the rise and set because it just looks so much like that from our paradigm. Let's refresh this. Ooh, monochrome. Let's do 9. So, well, I guess I'll just update you, huh? That makes sense. God, my memory's not the best. That's why I was supposed to be doing this every week, but I missed one. Um, I'm trying to remember why. It's everything feels like a blur lately. I think, well, that's the thing. I haven't been thinking much lately. I've been too afraid to. Too worried about the thoughts I don't want to think. To get down to the business of thinking about what I want to think about. Isn't that pathetic? It's okay. Pathos. Is that not a part of our essence? I don't know. I like that shape. I'm just gonna look at it for a little. It's 2:31 a.m. Technically Wednesday. Woes Day. Woden's Day. You are composed of what you eat. All the more so psychologically. I've been I wish I could call it growing up, but not quite. I've been trying to make progress in life, even though I'm not sure what that even means anymore. You know, like, no, you don't. You can't. That's what's beautiful about it and tragic. I don't share. I can hardly even share my mind with the ones inside my mind, you know? Like, you gotta be kidding me if you think someone outside all this mess is gonna understand that. Mads was just telling me about a time when we were arguing with our mom. She's like, it's like you're a completely different person. And then she snapped in and was like, yeah, like we've been telling you. Like we've been trying to tell you anyway. Congrats, you got it. You figured it out. Here's your prize. I used to think, gosh, if I'd been raised by a religious family, I would probably be even worse than I am. I remember one of the few times I was brought to a church by a friend. During the, the preaching, just I don't even remember the content, but the mystique of the place, the symbolism and um what is it? The gravity. It made me want to feel connected so badly that I heard voices. And that was before high school. And luckily, I didn't talk to anyone about that. Because I'm sure if I'd talked to the fundamentalists, I would have been converted, and if I'd... I don't know. Sharing space. It's hard when you're in the same exact space. Sometimes I liken it to the relationship between Koyomi, Shinobu, and Kishshot. Stories change people, and people change stories. And the stories that change people the most are the stories that they'll change the most. I don't really know what I'm on about at all right now. Still, I feel like I have to at least do this to somehow get it rolling again. I need focus. Something short of isolation, but not by much. Perhaps that's what appeals to me about hermitage. I feel, yes, the first step to discovering lost wisdom is to become lost oneself. How apt that I should have written such a thing. To find oneself, one must necessarily be alone. Demons always interested me, especially summoning. But more than that, the idea of selling my soul. No, not because of the benefits I would gain. No, that was collateral bonus. I hardly cared, frankly. What appealed to me, dear viewers, was the idea that something would want my soul. That was all. I'd sell my soul to the highest bidder simply because they valued it. That's all. Ba Ishtar Ashtaroth Inan. I've always wanted to belong with someone, to someone. I wanted to matter in a way that mattered, but I couldn't figure any out, I don't think, because there's no. That's the thing. There's no way to prove post-mortem continuity of consciousness, but in the same sense, there's also no way to fundamentally disprove it, which is why it can't be proven. It's just, it nags at me thinking that I might have wasted so much of a life I'll never get back. That I've lost so many memories that I don't even know I had. It's like I've died 100 dozen deaths without living a single life. So, that was my motivation for my first forays into the demonological. And I found that in many cases, they were portrayed as more benevolent than deities, believe it or not. The blood of the covenant. Not the covenant with the Creator, but with the rebel, the defier, the adversary, the questioner. Whatever. But not for me. Not that. I already was the questioner. It's funny. I ask too many questions, and I'm quite certain I get that from my mother. What is it, do you think, that makes us so afraid? No, that's not a real question. That's on the par of, do you believe in music? I'm tired, exhausted. I wish I was delirious. I've been thinking a lot about that one seizure I had, wondering, you know, I don't know. No, I do know, but I don't know how to say it. Um, Wondering what I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Wondering how much I don't know about my own brain. Wondering just how many chapters of the story I just don't have access to. I don't feel like I'm 29. And even if you cut off like the first 8 years, call that, childhood, can't remember. Still, I don't feel like I've got even 21 years of memories. I have the shapes of memories and specific memories. And I can hold an image in my head perfectly. But recency bias. That's all for now. Maybe I'll record some more later. I'm taking up a lot of disk space with this one.